What's up? This is the truth behind what happened with Nelly's career. Nelly should have been at the plateau where Eminem is. Had the opportunity to be, because nobody paved the way for him to come through. After his first album, Blue with Country Grammar, people said he's gonna phase out. It was all over. They was like, oh yeah, he gonna phase out. They didn't take him serious. I mean, seriously, nobody was taking him serious. But then comes Nellyville, you know. The Nellyville project comes into play and does what nobody expected. Everybody was expecting Eminem album to do monumental numbers. Nobody was expecting Nellyville to be nothing but another urban hip hop album that may go platinum. No one thinking this record will sell 10 million copies. So you go into Nellyville or going into Nelly's career and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Like he was everywhere with that album. That album was played, and I heard that more on the radio than I did Eminem records. He had more records on the radio than Eminem did for the Marshall Mathers album because Eminem didn't have too many radio songs. He had the Real Slim Shady, which was on blowing up like crazy. He had Stan, and then The Way I Am really barely got on radio. But other than that, those first two were hits. Nelly had a monumental bunch of hits with Dilemma and everywhere else, and it was played so much people liked it. They loved that song. So all of a sudden, Nelly's in high demand. So for 2 years, it went to the phase. Hip hop go through phases, and everybody's making the double CD. Is that phase is coming back? Nelly wanted to do something different. He said, I'm gonna drop two CDs on the same day. One called Sweat and the other one Suit, like a sweatsuit. Which was a good idea. No problem with that. So you basically telling the people to pay twice for two CDs, you know. But hey, it's a good one. But the release didn't really do what it should have done. A lot of stuff was not it wasn't his best work. That's what I'm trying to get to. Then with the St. Lunatics and everything else and that flap your wings stuff, that it was all right, but it just wasn't, it wasn't Nelly. A lot of it just really wasn't Nelly. Even though the song with Tim McGraw over and over, they thought that would cross Nelly on into the country fans and Tim McGraw over to the hip hop fans. And the song isn't that bad. If people was just offended, Nelly a sellout. Look at him. He doing songs with this country dude. And, he was trying to, I understand what he was trying to do. He's trying to expand himself. He's trying to, like, look, I'm trying to grow as an artist and everything else. The song wasn't that bad. I'm like, well, the song ain't really that bad. What is people like? It's not a song that I'm gonna bump in the car, but it's not a bad song. I really didn't understand it. But I look at management because I'm like, who is his manager? Nelly was basically a street dude. So I don't know if he had like proper management. And I think that's what really ruined him as far as his legacy and his career. Look, Nelly had just as many hits as everybody else in the world. And it seems like he has the less notoriety and he was easily like abandoned and became a relic real quick. And I'm like, wow, how did this happen to Nelly? So I started to go back to seeing where the stuff started to go wrong. You see, rap was starting to change, and since that album came out, and what Nelly was doing was working on certain songs, doing BET, getting extra raunchy, with the drop down and get your eagle on and all this stuff, and working more with the Saint Lunatics and doing songs like that. His he was starting to become one of those rappers that was searching for a new identity. So when that started happening, and you see Nelly going from this side to that side, he's bouncing. It's like he's trying to find what's the next thing. So he wanted to say, okay, BET Uncut is doing this. We're gonna make some real raunchy videos and have all these women with no clothes on, and then it started rubbing people the wrong way. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Like people finna start labeling him, like he's sexist, the video is too demeaning and everything else. And I'm like, this is crazy. Nelly is, I'm like, I still couldn't believe, like Nelly was, looked at in this way. Then Nelly decided to embark on this thing, his fifth album he put out, and it was called Brass Knuckles. And when you saw Nelly during this time, you were like, it's more of an R&B album than anything. And you're like, what is this? This album, he comes out, he's looking like LL Cool J and Mama Said Knock You Out. And his arms are all swole like he's been like hitting the gym, and people was like, yo, he just went crazy on the roids, man. Everybody. It was like an industry roid rage. Everybody Busta Rhymes, Dr. Dre, Timberland, 50, even man, all these dudes got extra buffed. It was the new thing in Hollywood. Everybody's got to get this new drug. You get muscles in 2 weeks. But if you're not a person that actively works out, this ain't gonna work out. So he starts swollen up, looking like LL Cool J, and everybody like, yeah, he looked like Cool J, and he's basically embraced LL Cool J's legacy. Like that's who I'm finna be, the new LL Cool J. But it's like, how you gonna be the new LL Cool J when we already got Cool J? If Cool J want to come back, he can. He look like you right now today. At that time definitely LL was looking like that. So I'm like, this makes no sense. He's using LL lyrics. He come out and do LL on stage for the honors award, and other people turn stuff like that down. Like Lil Wayne was supposed to do an honors thing, and they was like, no, we do not want to get associated with older acts because that would tear down the brand, and then that's what basically happened. Nelly got put in the bracket of the LLs, and like he was in that era. So you basically isolated yourself from your audience. They thinking, well, he's doing LL Cool J type stuff. His audience, most of them didn't really know LL Cool J songs. Most of, most of his era group, them kids, they all into the new stuff. But once he put his identity with LL Cool J's, people were like, I guess. So they really wasn't vibing with this at all. So once all that stuff was over, his career has been from that point, from 2008, making like a basic R&B album with like no rap and all this stuff. Nelly career has been jumping from place to place, and he's a really good dude in heart. He's a really good dude in heart. It's just that career choices, bad career decisions, have really hurt him, and he really should be higher on a plateau than what he ended up being. I see him on Undisputed, and it's cool to see Nelly on TV and that people still show the love, but he shouldn't be a relic like that. As far as like, man, remember Nelly? Oh yeah, that dude. Yeah, he had Nellyville. That shouldn't have ended there. He should have had a lot more hit songs in him, and a lot of it was attributed to him not being aware of the climate change. Ti tried to help him. When before, but Ti fell on hard times because at the paper trail, he couldn't really capitalize on that success because he made a very key error. We know that. And then the climate has shifted. 50 Cent had to realize it. Everybody had to realize that the waters had changed. This was Lil Wayne's world. It was the trap. Everything is trap. So you had what? Lil Wayne, Jeezy at that time. Everybody's coming out. Rick Ross's. It was the trap era, 2008. And Wheezy and Young Money and all that stuff was getting ready to start coming into play. So now, with that coming into play, you screwed. If your music or you don't have an identity already, it's gonna be hard for you to stay relevant. Like Kanye West took such a risk that year with 808s and Heartbreaks because it was unlike any album that was out at that time. Everybody was trap, 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 trap. So when you came with your album came sounding like some R&B from the past. And from that point on, Nelly was so forgotten about. It was not even funny. It was sad because I always felt, Nelly did a couple of movies. We saw him in The Longest Yard. He was doing good. I thought he could have done a lot more acting than anything else. But once he came back to the rap game, they didn't really miss him. Then when he came back trying like, I'm gonna get my groove back, I'm finna get with the times now. I see what's happening. So here I am, man. I got Yo Gotti on this Nelly 5.0, which wasn't a bad album. Nelly 5.0 it wasn't a bad album at all. But it was over. And Just a Dream was a good single, but you know, Grills, it wasn't Grills. It's like, look, I think he needed proper management because there's no way, Nelly should have fell off like this. What y'all think? I'm sitting over here trying to drink this tea. I'm out.